I want to tell you a story. The story starts with an exercise that I learned in the Shame Clinic from Simone Soul and David Bedrick. And just a quick, it's so windy. Just a quick side note, if you've heard of the Shame Clinic, or if you are in any way curious about what it would be like to live without shame, it's the best money I have ever spent on an online course. I looked at it for ages. I didn't do it because I buy so many online courses and I don't finish them and I can't connect with them. I not only know that I will finish every minute of this, but I will re-watch it over and over again. It is wonderful. Check it out. Back to my story. So in this exercise, you identify an inner voice, an inner critic, and it can be something quite mild. And you let the voice have its say. So my voice was saying, it was about me not focusing at work and meandering in my work. And it's you give space to the voice, you let it talk. And my voice was saying, you can't just wander around, Alyssa. You only get 2 days a week to work. You have to make the most of them. Don't you know what happens to people who wander? They get lost. Don't you know how dangerous it is to be lost? What will you do? You'll be lost. What will happen when you're lost? And then in this exercise, you then give yourself a chance to respond. And my response was, I love being lost. I am the most free and happy I've ever been when I have no plan, no destination, no agenda, and I can just go where my will takes me. And then there's one final piece of the exercise, which David suggested in the training, which was to then let yourself do the thing that you were criticizing yourself for. So I decided this morning for my artist date to wander and get lost for 2 hours. And to do it without a plan. So I dropped my son off at school, I had my bike, I had some snacks in my bag, and no idea where I was going to go. And I started cycling out of town. And I remembered friends telling me about this woodland that's out of town. And I thought, yeah, I'll head there, And I'm on this quite a main road and heading out of town. And I thought, I'm just going to check the map and see that it is where I think it is and it's not too far. And then I realized that the universe had been taking me very seriously because I had somehow managed not to bring my phone with me. So I really was about to get lost. And I kept going on the road, and I came eventually to, in fact, I didn't even know that I was there. I came across a pathway as I was cycling up, and I thought, I'm going to check that out. I walked down the pathway, and sure enough, across the railway tracks, and I'd found the woods. And the woods were so wonderful. It's ancient woodland, which I'm very lucky. I live next to ancient woodland here as well, but this is further away from houses, so it's really quiet. There's not many people there, and it just has this kind of untouched feel to it. It's much spookier than the woods that I live by, but in a really nice way. And I walked for about half an hour through the woods until I found this open space in the woods, a bit of a clearing where people had constructed out of branches some sort of little, I don't know, hut things, and there were some big trees, and I climbed up into a horse chestnut tree, and I sat in amongst where I think there must have been squirrels, because there were loads of pieces of the chestnuts that had been taken apart and all the juicy bits taken out of them, and I kind of nestled in with that. And then I wrote a poem. And some people who know me well may know that writing and performing poem is kind of like my biggest secret desire. And it's always the thing that I think, well, that's just never going to happen. Where would I even do that? I probably just write crap anyway, and that's clearly not a job. And anyway, I got into this tree. The chestnuts were actually falling around me, and those things are lethal when they come from a big tree, really fast. So I was writing the poem and then putting my notebook on top of my head every time I heard one to shelter me from these missile chestnuts that were coming down. And I wrote, I'm just unapologetically going to say it, I wrote the best poem I think I've ever written. And the words felt like fire in my mouth. as I walked through the woods saying it out loud. It felt so powerful to me, and the words spoke to me of who I am and where I'm going and my why I'm doing this. And I was just blown away by the whole experience. And that experience came from, from letting myself get lost. And letting myself get lost came from this exercise of letting my inner critic speak and responding. And that came from the Shame Clinic. And I'm very grateful to be part of it. So thank you to Simone and David. And thank you to all of you. This is going to be a very long story. And whether you think I've lost my mind or not, I'm happy that you stayed for it.